Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here. I'm excited for this video. We have a new foldable phone, the Find N from Oppo. Really pumped to check this out because it really does look like a premium folding phone, and it's a little bit different than Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 3. Now, obviously, Samsung has been the leader in folding phones these past few years at this point, and they're really trying to perfect that folding phone, so it's nice to see Samsung getting some competition. Now, the Find N is a little bit different. It is a smaller front-facing screen, however, the aspect ratio makes it more like a standard candy bar style cell phone, and when you open it up, it's more of a square tablet, but Oppo has figured out a way to make the crease in the middle virtually not noticeable. So anyways, really excited. We're gonna open this up, see what we get in the box, get some first impressions going of the Oppo Find N. Let's get started. Okay, here is the Find N from Oppo, opening up the box. Nice presentation. There's our Find N. I'm going to leave you in suspense. We're going to take this out actually and continue through, see what else we get. First off, our getting started guide, warranty information, and a SIM ejection tool. Also a little card here, which obviously has some characters that I can't read. So if you know, I believe it's Chinese, just go ahead and let me know in the comments what it says. We have a charging brick, which is USB Type A. I believe it is 33 watts of charging. And finally, just the charging cable, USB Type A to USB Type C. All right, let's move on to what you came to see. So here it is, the Find N foldable phone. It has some information about it on the back, but we are just gonna peel this right off. And there it is, our Find N unfolded. It has a little bit of weight to it. Not that it's crazy heavy whatsoever. I will be comparing this size-wise to other phones in just a second. But let's go ahead and fold it for the first time. It does feel very premium in the hand. Closing it, very premium as well. I don't feel like I'm gonna break it when I close it shut. And opening it on up, felt like it hit a point where it just kind of snaps open. Yeah, so like about there, it will kind of force it open, which isn't a bad thing at all. Now I'm gonna boot this up for the first time, and we're gonna take a closer look at the hardware of the Find N. So down at the bottom, we have a microphone, USB Type-C port for charging, a dual SIM card slot, and a couple of speakers right there. Let's actually move it onto the spine because it says designed for Find there. We can take a closer look at the mechanism of folding actually. Why don't we just do that right now? So here it is when it folds shut like so. Sits very flush with the backs, and then when we close it, you will see also very flush when it is closed. Really can't see any gap. Moving along to the right side, we've got our volume rockers and our power button, not on the same part of the screen. You'll see they're on separate, so when it's folded, the volume will be on the left side, the power will be on the right side, and our power button has a fingerprint scanner built into it. Up at the top, just a microphone. Make note of the minimal camera bump, actually. Just kind of protrudes out a little bit. This is the purple color, I believe. And on the back, we have a triple camera setup, a 50 megapixel standard wide angle lens, 13 megapixel telephoto at 2 times optical zoom, and a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle lens. So all 3 lenses that you expect out of a flagship phone. And finally, moving on, it does have Oppo branding in the corner there. So there's a close look at the hardware. Now that it is booted up, let's go ahead and check out this folding phone. Now in the hand, when it's closed, it actually feels kind of small because the display on the front is actually fairly small. However, the aspect ratio is more towards what you're used to as opposed to it being more tall on the Galaxy Z Fold 3, which I'll show off in comparison in just a second. But this is a 5.5-inch AMOLED display now with an 18:9 aspect ratio. So it is just about normal, maybe a little bit more wide. A lot of them are 19 to 19.5 to 9 as opposed to 18 to 9. But with that being said, very comfortable and very normal to use in comparison to other phones. And then obviously, let's go ahead and open it up. Actually, you know what I want to do is let's go to the lock screen and open it on up. And there we go. Check that out. Really good looking. You'll see one of the biggest things there. I really can't see a crease. It's there. If you see, you can kind of see the distortion in the light, but it is not really noticeable. Even with a lot of white going on, I really can't tell it's there when I'm looking at it with my eye. Obviously, if the light hits it like this, you can kind of see it, but really to the naked eye, I cannot tell that there's actually a crease. So well done, Oppo. That's pretty exciting because obviously other foldable phones have that crease in the middle. Now when opened up like this, it's very square overall. So very even, top, bottom, left, right. So when you do your multitasking, it will look very symmetrical overall. And then if we close it, there we go, back to our normal phone. So I do like this. Now again, 5.5-inch display on the front is a little bit small, but I think it's a solid balance considering you can open it up to a 7.1-inch display. And not only is it 7.1 inches, but it's actually a 120 hertz display, which I can tell is already enabled by default just by the animations, how smooth everything looks. I keep missing that settings button. But let's go ahead and double check display and brightness. Go down, high refresh rate, it's at high. So yes, it is at that 120 hertz. You can bump it down to standard if you'd like to. Now I also want to make note that the front display is actually only a 60 hertz display. So you don't get that 120 hertz on the front, unfortunately. So going through some of the settings under main screen, split screen, so you can display 2 apps at once by swiping down with 2 fingers to split the screen. So very easy there. Also flexible windows, so kind of floating apps on the screen. You can open from smart sidebar, open with a swipe. Swipe up or resize a window, mini window, quickly hide. So it's basically a tutorial on how to get to a group of different options. So it will take a little bit of time to learn, which makes sense. But once you get it down, it's just kind of second nature with multitasking and using windows. They also have laptop mode. So if you fold the phone about halfway, it will only show a specific apps just on the top display. Also, a big one, screen switching. You can actually have it continue using specific apps or swipe up to continue using. So if I hit continue using and I close this, look at that. It still uses it. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like you can do it on a per app basis, which is a little unfortunate. And then obviously it will continue the app once you're using it on the front screen and open it on up. But you'd think you could kind of change it on a per app basis. Hopefully they can add that later on. You can use an app in 2 different windows and display size. So adjusting it, because of course it's a folding phone, cough, cough, Instagram really bad at resizing based on folding phones. So some of them you can really change on the fly depending on how well they work and how well they kind of optimize. So opening Google Play, you'll see it optimized well and went full screen, but some of them are gonna get cut off on the edges, just a couple. It seems like a lot more developers are catching on. But as a quick test, let's use 4 or 5 fingers, pinch in. There you go, we have a floating window. You see how quick and easy that was. Just go ahead and grasp in, touch and hold the top of the floating window to drag it. So I can go ahead and do that, drag in the lower left-hand corner. There's a bunch of different ways to actually use floating window. You can expand it all the way. I can make it a little bit, I can close it. I believe I drag it over and there it is there just on the left side. So again, really cool and easy to use multitasking. I'll just throw it on over. There it is. So I can continue using the phone. And then if I want to switch back to an app, obviously it doesn't have to be Google Play. It can be just about any other app. Really exciting stuff. And real quick, I want to test out 2 fingers swiping down. There you go. So easy to use. Settings actually doesn't support split screen, which kind of makes sense because it's a split screen in and of itself. But if I wanted to open up the music app, there you go. And you can resize it. You can change the app's size left and right. But again, it's very even, very aspect ratio wise. It seems like it's 2 sides and just seems like 2 phones using different apps. In terms of specs, this has the Snapdragon 888 processor. You have a 4,500 milliamp hour battery inside. Pretty interested to see how good battery life is on this phone. Swiping down a group of different options. You can wirelessly charge this phone, and I believe it has reverse wireless charging. Yeah, right there. Reverse wireless charging as well. So nice that you have these options that come in other flagship phones. You can turn on dark mode as well, which should theme some of the apps, and it does as expected. So overall, I am really impressed, especially with that inside display not having really a visible crease. Again, if that light hits it a certain way, you can kind of tell, but really not really to the naked eye. So it's kind of exciting that someone has figured out a way to not have a crease, and it's good because then it will increase competition in the folding phone market. So I expect 2022 to have a lot of great folding phone options from different companies. And as promised, I wanted to get a couple comparisons. So first of all, the iPhone 13 mini, which actually has a 5.4-inch display. So it's just a little bit smaller than the front display, the 5.5-inch display. So as you can tell, it is kind of small. Actually, this is the, again, iPhone mini. So keep that in mind. This is definitely a smaller front-facing screen, which I kind of like. I think it usability, it makes the folding phone a little bit smaller, and again, helps with that aspect ratio, making it more like a standard phone. You'll see this is a little bit taller. I think it's 19.5 to 9 as opposed to 18 to 9, so a little bit more wide, but again, pretty normal. And in contrast, here is the Galaxy Z Fold front-facing screen. You can just tell it is definitely just much taller overall, but obviously that lends itself to a different inside display. So let's flip these open to compare the inside. So you can tell much different, not nearly as square because of course it's taller. So you have more screen real estate on the Z Fold 3 for sure, which I know a lot of people are going to like in comparison to the Find N, which as you can tell just isn't as large of a screen. It's just a little bit different. Let's go ahead and put this horizontally so you'll see just a bigger inside display, a little bit more wide on the Z Fold 3 as opposed to the square look to the Find N. And just a quick little comparison at the crease. This is in extreme conditions, keep that in mind. So the Z Fold 3's crease isn't nearly as visible as it makes it seem like right now, but you can tell there is definitely a difference between the creases in the two phones. So hopefully Samsung takes notes and in their future folding phones gets rid of the crease. All right, so anyways, that is everything I want to talk about for now with the Oppo Find N folding phone. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're excited about this, if you like this form factor better than maybe a folding in half flip phone or like the Galaxy Z Fold 3 from Samsung. Drop a comment, let me know. Be sure to subscribe as well. A lot more content coming soon on these phones and folding phones and a lot more. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching.